Welcome back, guys. We're actually inside today, back on the WR125. It's a bit chilly, it's a bit of a bite in the wind, so we're inside. We've got the little log burner on, as usual. Excuse the mess. Too many projects on the go, and we're trying to get this one finalised and back to my friend, because then that will be this series complete. So last week you saw me rebuild the front forks, so we've got that done. Today we're going to get the handlebars built up and back on. There's some new to us handlebars, or they might be new, I can't remember. Anyway, we've got handlebars to put back on, some new levers, a new switch. Wouldn't mind getting the headlight and the front cowling back on. I've just rebuilt the caliper. That's going to go out in a separate video midweek, probably workshop Wednesday. So if you want to see a caliper rebuild video, there's one of those done coming out on Wednesday. The front wheel is at my dad's, having a new tyre. There was a problem with the inner tube, so just waiting on another inner tube coming, then the front end will be done and we can start putting some more stuff back together. So let's crack on with these handlebars, shall we, guys? Haven't even taken these out of the wrapper yet. So hopefully they're correct. What is that? So there's the handlebars. So I wonder what's in here. I've got a feeling. Aha! So if you've been watching the whole series, guys, we had a bent and cracked gear lever. I've been tearing my messy garage to bits looking for the one I've ordered. They obviously came off from the same breakers or wherever I got them off. And there's our gear lever, so we can pop that back on. That's good. I knew if I waited long enough, it would turn up while I was doing something else. That was my plan anyway. Right, so before you build any of your handlebars up, make sure they are the right diameter bars, because there are different diameter bars. And if you get it wrong, then they're either not going to fit, or if they're close, you might end up snapping the clamps that go over the top as you tighten it down. So these fit, these are nice, that's good. So the next thing that we've got to do is start to build these up and get them on the bike. Now, I suppose you kind of got two options. If everything's off the bike, you could build them up here, bolt them to the bike, and then route all your cables and wiring and everything. Most of my stuff is still on the bike, so let's do it on the bike, shall we? Right, just to help us out, I'm going to bolt the handlebars in place, otherwise it gets a bit fiddly. These top caps have got, let me show you, they've got an arrow on pointing forward, so we can't get the position wrong. I'm not going to do these up tight, we're going to torque them down. But for the minute, I'm just going to nip them up. Try and get in looking somewhere central in the clamps. For the minute, that will do. like I said, we're going to torque them up, so we're just going to nip them up for a second. Just so that they don't move around. Beautiful. So we'll start on the throttle side, guys, and we'll start to put this together. So I like to just like bolt it all up, get it mocked up, and then we can position it to where we want it. So this perch has a couple of 5mm Allen keys in it. Again, pay special attention to where all of your wires and your brake flexi hose and your throttle cable are going to go, because it's all going to make a big difference. You don't want to get in caught up. It's Mr. MOT man, he's not going to like it. Now this has a dowel pin missing, if you remember from part 1. If you can see in there should be a little steel dowel pin in there, which I've actually pulled out because it snapped off inside. It was just laying inside the switch pack, and eventually that's going to create a dead short and blow some fuses or worse. So I've got rid of that. It's not a big deal, would prefer it if it was there. So we're going to pop that on there. The throttle cable comes through the bottom of this like that, and then there is, or should be, it was missing when the bike arrived, there should be a small screw, looks like a bit of a set screw, not a self tapper, in the bottom there. So let's see if I've got a bit of hardware to fit that. Right, so found a bit of hardware for there. I had to cut it down, so that's in there nice and tight now. So we've got to put this on for our throttle cable, and then we've got to get that located where it needs to be. With the wires round the right way. I'm going to assume that little plastic spacer goes in there with it, like that. And then that does not feel very returny on your own-y. Yeah, so the return on that, even with the housing off, doesn't feel, it's too slow. So let's take that. So I don't know if you guys can see it, there's this plastic shim. Now, I feel like that should be inside, but when it is in there, it's not returning very nicely. So there's also a plastic spacer that goes in here, like that. So let's put that on there. There's no screws in it yet. But that is returning nicely now. It's got some JIS screws in here, and I need to buy some JIS screwdrivers, so I haven't got any at the moment. Add it to the shopping list. Right, because I didn't listen to my own advice, I had wires round the wrong way, so I've gone ahead and put that right. So that's the perch for the front brake lever. You don't need big monkey arms on these. They just need to be nipped up. It's got to be secure though. Got a new lever to put on in a second. Let's see what we've got for the other side. So as you can see at the moment, everything's just, I can still move everything about if I need to. So on the opposite side, guys, we've got a new clutch perch because the old one was cracked and bent and horrible and all of that stuff. And we've also got a new clutch cable. So we've got a nice new clutch cable to go on as well. Now what we need to do here is, don't know if you guys can see that, there's two slots here. I think I demonstrated it when I took it apart as well. So we'll get the clutch cable in. That goes through there like that. We won't adjust anything up yet until we've got it all where we need it to be. So we've also got a second-hand switch pack to put on this side because the old one was one of the switches was completely broken out and missing. Haven't got any grips yet because I think the owner said that he had some for it already, so we need to get those off him. So we should have a small loom to come up here and plug into that clutch switch, which is missing, and I've just found this. So if you guys can see this, somebody's twisted those wires together, tricking the bike into thinking that the clutch has been pulled, allowing you to start it. Okay, which is not great if it's in gear, so I'll need to find a new connector for that and wire these back in. So we'll add that to the to-do list. Hooray. Right, so we've got the levers on, new clutch cable, switch pack, that's all on, needs tightening up and finalising. I've just been going through the wiring a little bit, running the clutch cable through, running the wiring through for this switch pack. So the next thing we're going to do is bolt the headlight and the front cowling back on, but I've got to put some indicators on. And these are the indicators that the customer has picked for the back. The front ones were also knackered, so I just bought a matching set. Not my cup of tea, but each to their own. I'm going to wire the original loom back on so that they can be plugged into the original loom. And one for this side. So that's the indicators all wired in, guys, behind me. What we need to do now is get the headlight and the new front cowling on, and we've got to get all the broken bits off of this headlight, because the headlight appears to be okay, just all the cowling is still stuck around it. I need these screws and we need the broken bits out. One. Bottom, there's one single screw. This don't look good. Oh, it's coming and it's moving. Is it coming undone? Yes, it is. And it has some form of weird spacer half nut spacing it out. So let's get the new headlight cowling and let's pop it in here. They line up, and then there's a couple of rubber grommets that have got to come out of this broken bit that need to go into this cowling, and that allows this cowling to locate onto the front forks. So let's get these in first, shall we? So that's that. And then, for the want of something better to use, or knowing what should actually be there, so there's also a black panel that goes on the front of here, and I haven't got any hardware that is ideal for it really. And what I'm gonna do is, for the minute, I'm gonna leave it off and get some proper hardware. So let's go over to the bike and get it on, shall we? So let's plug it in first. We've got our side light and then our headlight. There's two pegs at the bottom here which those rubber grommets push over, and then that goes over the back like that. And I think I've got the correct bolts for that. He says, what size were they? Sure it was those ones. I'm sure I took the broken bits of it off of here. Suddenly dawned on me, guys, that I think there's another bit to the puzzle there is. Right, let's get this panel back off again. Now this was new old stock that I found at a reasonable price, so it's a genuine Yamaha one. So yeah, that goes on first. Okay, and then the front mudguard comes up to here. So this has 4 bolts in it. Alright, so now let's get this plugged back in. Like that. Then that goes over there. That's better. And we've got the panel to go on here, which I need to find some hardware for, but I might put some like rubber speed fasteners in there to make it a little bit neater. Splendid. Right, that's on, solid as a rock. Lovely. Do you know how I know that's enough for today? Log burner's just gone out. Run out of wood, forgot to fill it up. So, thanks for watching, guys. So we've got the handlebars on, we've got the front end back on, we've got a little bit of finishing up to do up here. We've got to get the grips. But next week, hopefully we'll have the front wheel back on, so we can get the front wheel on, the caliper on, get some grips on it, finish off the engine end of the clutch cable, get that adjusted up. I need to order the correct front brake lever because the one I've ordered is wrong. Grips, we've already said that. Hardware for the little black panel that goes on the front here, and the front will be pretty much all good to go. So if you've made it this far, guys, smash that subscribe button for me, drop us a comment, hit like. I'm Dino, this is Patch's Repair Shop. I'll catch you guys next week.